Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about what advanced creators do really well that makes them stand out to their audiences and to brands. So if you haven't seen already, I did do a video on what mediocre creators do, and this is going to be the total opposite of that. So if you're watching this video and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know any of this, I don't do this, like maybe I'm a mediocre creator, make sure you go watch the mediocre creator video, but also take note of all the things that I'm going to talk about in this video so that you can become an advanced creator. So I am going to be getting ready as usual in this video, so let's just get started. The first thing that advanced creators do exceptionally well is they know their audience demographic inside and out. They know the top cities right off the bat. They can name them to you based on different platforms. They know the types of content that each of their audiences like on each platform because those are often different. They also know what their audience members are looking for, who could be their most engaged audience members. They know their audience inside and out, and they can communicate that to a brand. So if you are someone that you have never even looked at your analytics, I need you to get it together. Get it together. You need to know your audience demographics. You need to know the breakdown, women versus men, the top cities, the countries. You also need to know what type of content performs the best on each platform. Where do you get the best engagement? What type of engagement do you get on each platform? Now notice I'm saying on each platform because advanced creators are typically on multiple platforms. They're balancing all of this all at the same time. And even though they're balancing all these same things at the same time, they still know that data like the back of their hands. So this is so important if you are someone that wants to work with brands. Now, brands do have access to some of this information if they have certain databases or software that they can look up demographics for individual influencers. But even in just casual conversation, like there are so many times that I have been to different seminars or workshops and things for creators, and you can tell the most advanced creators know their audiences inside and out. They just know it. Like in a casual, happy hour moment, they're like, oh no, my audience isn't like that. They actually really like it when I do this, and that. Oftentimes, those creators will compare notes to what other creators' audiences like. So if you know that your audience is primarily based in, let's say, on the East Coast, and you are a Los Angeles creator, and you're like, oh yeah, my audience really likes when I post East Coast restaurant reviews. Obviously, because most of your audience is based on the East Coast. This is very general, by the way. But when they're speaking to other creators, they're not saying, oh, you should make content that's based on the East Coast because that's what really works in my audience. Instead, they'll say, well, maybe, like giving advice to other creators, maybe you should look at your audience demographics and see where your audience is based so that you can create content that is most relevant to them, right? So they take the additional step of knowing their audience demographic and knowing how to create for said audience demographic. If you are a, let's say, family creator, you create family travel content, but then a brand comes along and says, oh, we would love if you can create content about diapers, right? You don't necessarily do newborn content or maternity content or anything like that. So you're going to know straight off the bat, that's not going to work for me. My audience is not going to do anything about that. Let's say Disney comes to you and they say, oh, we want to work with you on a brand campaign. That makes so much more sense. Why? Because your audience is family-based content. Your audience is a bunch of moms, right? Or a bunch of people that are looking for different locations to take their family for vacation. That makes a hell of a lot more sense. So when you know your audience demographic, I don't know why I was going to put on the contour first, crazy. When you know your audience demographic, you can create content based on said demographic that is going to make you stick out. And what you'll notice too is that even though you may be creating with one audience in mind, it may be really great for audience members to clock into or to check into. An example of this is if you are a natural hair care creator, right? And you're creating content for girls with 4C hair. You may be expecting your audience to be members of the 4C hair community, right? Makes sense. But your content may actually be useful to white moms who have daughters with 4C hair. Something that's unexpected, but something that you can definitely know about or use to your advantage when creating future videos. So all that to say, you gotta know your audience demographic inside and out. And on that note, so I kind of already touched on this before, but a really great advanced creator will know if a brand's campaign idea will flop. And generally speaking, I did talk about brand campaigns and how they work on a previous video, so you guys can check that out on this playlist. But generally speaking, a brand may or may not give you freedom of creation, right? So they may give you a campaign and say, we want you to make this type of video. And they may give you the creative freedom to be like, oh, we want you to make it in your style, make it something that, makes sense for your audience. If you have the creative freedom, then you can do something that you know is going to land with your audience. But if you don't have the creative freedom, right, you're going to know whether or not it works for your audience. Off the rip, right? You're not even going to have to create any videos. You're going to be like, this idea, my audience is going to hate it. Right? So then it gives you the option of being like, hey, brand, this isn't going to work. So if you don't want to waste your money on this brand campaign, you should actually allow me to have creative freedom. That doesn't always go that well. So there's definitely a nuance to having those conversations. But again, if you know your audience really well, you know what type of content they really like, and you know if a brand's campaign or a brand's collaboration is going to flop or take off. And on that same vein, if you know your audience demographic, then you can also predict future content or change up your content so that you don't lose your audience. So an example of this is, let's say you're creating that family content, right? And it's newborn content. Like you're like, I just had a baby, so now I'm creating mom content. And you posting about your newborn, you're probably going to attract either other people who also just had children. So, younger families, right? Or B, you're going to attract people who know about family planning or have had experience with newborns that are going to tune into your content. Now, if your audience is primarily the right? So people who just had newborns, then you know that those people's kids are also going to grow up around the same pace as your kids. So if you had a baby in December of 2024, then 2 years from now, you know that your toddler related content is going to be very relevant for them because their child is also a toddler. So another example of this is if you are a college creator and you are creating content about being a biology student at a university. Most of you that follow you are probably going to be college aged. So when you graduate college, right, you can kind of be a big sister to the people that follow you because you know that they too are going to graduate at some point and have to put on, their big girl pants and become an adult in society. If you know your audience inside and out, then you can kind of predict the content that they are going to want in the future to be able to keep creating content. Because if you were thinking of a long-term strategy, which most advanced creators do, then you need to have this on your radar. A lot of people that are mediocre don't think beyond 3 months. They're just like, oh, I'm, do whatever. I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants or whatever that saying is. But people don't plan ahead and don't think in the long term, whereas advanced creators are already considering these things well beyond or well before most creators are. On the next note of brand deals, if you are an advanced creator, you probably know how to present different items and products or services to your audience. So I'll give you an example. I am a travel creator and I know that my audience is primarily other Black people based in the United States that are primarily on the East Coast. And they love the way that I will talk about different products because I will show them different features that I think are relevant for them. Let's say I'm reviewing a suitcase set. My audience is going to be interested in how much stuff I can fit in said suitcase because my audience is primarily women that are probably overpacking, right? So because I know that, I know how to explain different products to them in a way that it'll be useful for them. If I am talking about skiing and I know majority of my audience are Black people or Black women specifically, then I know the type of content they're looking for because it's the same kind of content that I wanted when I first started skiing. So that would be content of how to tie up my hair, how to pack for the cold, or different layers that I put on, or how to navigate different communities, when there's just less Black people on the slopes, right? That type of that type of content I know how to present to my audience because I know my audience very, very well. A lot of times your audience is probably some version of you, because people connect to people that really look like them. They connect to people that have the same experiences as them. They connect to people that are similar to them in a lot of ways. So it's really easy to know your audience, but it's a little bit harder to know your audience demographics and a little bit harder to know how to predict future content for yourself so that you're continuously creating. So again, on that ski example, I may have to explain a pair of ski boots in a way that aligns with my audience who doesn't have experience in skiing, has never really been skiing, or doesn't typically see people like themselves skiing, right? So I know how to present that product to my audience. If I were a hiking creator, or let's say if I was an outdoors creator, I would probably use completely different language and present that product in a very, very different way if I were an outdoors creator, because I would have a different type of audience. And may still be Black people, right? But it's going to be I'm going to present the product in a different way. I'm going to present the service in a different way to people that makes it attractive for them. If you do not have this skill, you need to develop it. You need to figure out how you can speak to your audience in a way that it aligns with them and that they feel like they are being seen. Oh, these damn sirens. And the way that you know that your content is hitting with the right audience is when people comment things like, oh, I needed this. Oh, this was perfect timing. I love this. Or I love the way you explain this. Or, I never considered it this way, but thanks for the explanation. Comments like that indicate that you were connecting to your true audience, not only just hitting their feed and hitting their algorithm, right? But you were also presenting the product or service in a way that is attractive to them and makes them stop scrolling, pay attention, and be invested in you as a creator and also in the product or service. So again, this is a skill that takes quite some time to develop, especially if you are a brand new creator, you never created content, you just started like 20 minutes ago, okay? So don't expect yourself to know how to do this immediately. It takes a lot of practice and it takes a lot of data analysis. You have to go through and look at your actual analytics to understand if you're doing this or not. You have to go through and look at your comments to see if you're doing this or not, to be able to become an advanced creator that is doing these types of skills. Another thing really advanced creators do is they understand how to use SEO and other features on the apps to really beat the algorithm. And I say beat the algorithm very loosely. No one is actually beating the algorithm as much as they say they are. Beating the algorithm is very subjective, right? By that, I mean, you're getting the traction that you want, regardless of whatever algorithm changes have been made. So a lot of creators will pay attention to different announcements that app or that platform is making because it is relevant to them as a creator. If you were someone that is just like putting out content, spaghetti at the wall and hoping for the best, and you're not paying attention to any new features that the app's coming out with, you're not paying attention to any updates within the app, you're not even paying attention to what is, trending or, new on the app, then you're going to be left behind. And you're going to be the steps behind all the advanced creators who understand how to use those skills to their advantage. So different things like anytime an app comes out with a new feature, that's something that you want to be using because generally that app will push that feature. So if YouTube came out with shorts last week, then you better be using shorts this week because it's definitely going to benefit you in the future as a creator. Also, SEO is kind of variable, depends on what platform you're using, but SEO is another way for you to really understand how to make your content seen by the right audience. Because again, you aren't doing anything brand new, right? Everything you're doing, another creator has already done. But it is a combination of you having the SEO skills and an understanding of the algorithm and having that quality content where your personality really shines, and people, take value from your content that allows your content to be seen by more and more people. Again, very advanced skill. Most people don't know how to do this. It takes so long to master. And here's the kicker, it changes very often. If you've been posting on social media for more than 3 months, I am sure you have noticed that the algorithm has changed. And it changes very, very often. So that is something that is going to be consistent. You are always going to have to adjust to changes in the algorithm regardless of whatever app you were using. But if you were someone that can kind of stay ahead of the game or stay on top of it, then you can definitely consider yourself an advanced creator, because those are things that people are doing when they are in the tops of their niche or top of their industry. Okay, the last part, and this is arguably the most important. A lot of people miss this entirely, and it just grinds my gears because it's something that only advanced creators that are really, really smart know how to do. And that is, they know how to introduce new niches to their content after they have mastered their original niche. Let's say if you follow a mega influencer and they have, over 1 million followers or something, and you notice they just post whatever the hell they want. There's a reason why that person can post whatever the hell they want. You as a nano creator, you can't do that because you aren't known for something very specific. What a lot of people miss with mega creators is that mega creator has honed in on that niche, has ripped it apart, has rebuilt it, has posted the same video 20 different times in 20 different ways. That mega creator has been on the internet since the dawn of the internet, probably. There is just so much that goes into being a mega creator. Again, someone with over 1 million followers. So a lot of times mega creators have mastered their original niche, whether it be cooking, fashion, beauty, whatever it is. They've done it inside and out so much that one, they've probably gotten bored of it. And two, they also have garnered an audience that is just interested in them as a person, and they can then venture out into other niches. Now, here's the kicker. Venturing out into other niches doesn't work for all mega creators because you have to have technique built in to building your mega platform. So even if you have 1 million followers tomorrow, but you don't have strategy, and this is something that I talk about in my creator course, if you do not have a content strategy, you also won't be able to post whatever the hell you feel like it on whatever random topic that you thought of today. So it takes skill, it takes strategy, and it also takes a lot of time and persistence. It very, very much goes overlooked, especially by newer creators. So, where's my lips gloss? Hold up. If you watch this video and realize that you have so much to learn about advancing your skills as a creator, I want you to go back and rewatch it and take notes of all the things that you should be doing. But also, go watch that mediocre video. Go watch it because you probably need to fix those skills first before you can even move on and master the skills I just spoke about in this video. So hopefully you guys like this. Let me know if you did by giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.